morning. It's Saturday, August 20th. And most of you know that I spent most of my working career with computers, either programming them or designing systems or selling the information that we gathered for our customers. We always had a computer. And I had a computer in my house in 1982 that was an Apple, one of the first Apple computers that came out. My son was the only kid in high school at that time that had a computer in his house. So I have been around computers a long, long time, and I have worked on several different models. But it never worked really on the Apple. The Apple was a laptop, an original laptop. We use it for a couple things, and I never really became in love with Apple. And I worked on big IBM equipment, and I worked on some UNIVAC equipment, but those were all business equipments. They were so large that I would have needed a second house to keep them around. But my own personal preference over the years has been Dell or some other off-brand. Well, Dell is not an off-brand, but some other brand. And I never owned any Apple or Macintosh laptops. And don't ask me why. I think money was a factor because they were more expensive than other machines. But I never really became enamored with the way they operated and the look of the Apple. So now, Apple has a big problem, and I'm glad that I don't own an Apple. Right now, I'm talking to you on my Acer, which is now about 2 years old. And it's crowded with all the stuff that I do, and every morning I have to go through a routine to clean it up so I have space for the day's rant and whatever else I choose to do every day. But let me tell you what's happened with Apple. Now, Apple is one of the leading technology companies in the world, and I'm a shareholder. And my investment has grown very nicely over the years. And they even started paying dividends a few years back, so that made it even better. So yesterday, when I'm searching for something to rant about, I find this article about Apple. And it says if you own Apple devices, you should probably update them now. Apple is directing most of its users to update their software after the company found a vulnerability in their system. Now, this vulnerability is not something that could be easily corrected in my mind, because it gives hackers the ability to take control of the device's operating system. That means that if you have an Apple computer and somebody hacks into it, they will be able to control what that computer does during the day or night or whenever they grab control of it. So if they get control of your operating system and you have a lot of information on your computer, as I do, it could be a serious situation in your life. Especially if you're doing online bill paying and banking and stuff, you could be financially vulnerable to any kind of hack and attack. So Apple posted security updates online, and they said the vulnerability affects iPhones dating back to the 6S model, and the iPad, the 5th generation and later, and the iPad Air 2 and later, and the iPad Mini 4 and later, all iPad Pro models, and the 7th generation of iPad Touch. The issue also extends into the Mac computers running on the company's various operating systems. So it looks like it's been a total hack. Apple has been hacked in its totality. Whoever has managed to get into the systems have gotten into most of the devices that Apple sells. And the U.S. government's Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency has also jumped into this fray and encouraged effective users to apply the necessary updates as soon as possible. Now, I suspect that most people who have computers are not experts at them. Most of the people that I know that have computers use it for email and they use it for other things, and they shop online a little bit, but they're not experts in the workings of computers. And so that makes all of these people very vulnerable, because even some people I know who have used computers in their careers are not an expert at it. They've used them. They've gone to work and they've done their job and they've used the computer, but they don't understand the real workings, the real inner workings of the computer, how systems are designed and things like that. So when Apple discovers a vulnerability like this, and they ask you to update, you should hurry up and do that job. Don't mess around with this thing. If you have an Apple, an iPad, a Mac, or whatever it is they're talking about, and don't forget the phones, because those phones are also included in the equipment that is under attack. And I own none of those things. And don't ask me why. It's just a personal preference, so don't ask me why. Now, you have to take this announcement very seriously, because Apple doesn't disclose security issues without a thorough investigation. So rest assured that they have looked through this problem from every angle before they go out and make this type of announcement. This is a serious announcement. And I don't think the word vulnerability is strong enough to get people off their asses and do what they have to do quickly. It should have been a word like, this is a dangerous weakness, or something like that, something that will catch your attention and make you get your computers updated and changed as fast as possible. You don't want to leave yourself vulnerable in this situation. Don't leave yourself open to hackers. It's a terrible thing. When people gotten hacked, it's cost them lots of money and a lot of aggravation. And then, of course, there's a fear factor, because once you've been hacked like this, will you ever trust your laptop again? I'm not sure most people can cope with this. So for those of you out there, you have to learn how to update the software on your iPhone, your iPad, or your iTouch, or your Mac. Right? You have to take care of those pieces of equipment. And don't forget your Apple Watch. And Apple TV is also under attack. So you are being attacked on so many fronts. You might need to go and find an expert, an Apple expert, somebody who can update all your equipment. Or else just junk it and switch to some unknown brand. But I don't think many of you can, because people are attached to their Apple equipment. They love their Apple. When the Apple iPhone first came on the market, there were people lined up for days to get it. So Apple is a national brand. It's something that people love. So if you love it, stick with it, but get it cleaned up and get it working properly. And so I can't tell you more than that this morning. Bye.